Uh, I accidentally muted myself and you could not hear any of that. My total apologies. So, let's try that again. Uh, if you're new here, hello, my name is Alex. I am a non binary and autistic author from the Pacific Northwest. I typically write fantasy. Sometimes I write horror or sci fi. That one time when I wrote a mecha short that totally wasn't about working at Boeing. Um, excuse me. But tonight I'm doing something a little bit different. So, to get people up to speed, essentially, tonight's gonna be like half and half, half homework stream, um, half writing sprints. And so the reason that I'm doing that is I have a project in one of my classes where I need to basically um, do this project. And at the end, I'm supposed to have a target audience for it, and I'm supposed to present it. And I also have to choose like a way to present the information for my project. And so my project for this is centered around different methods of studying, like what kind of study method works good for me, etc. And I chose to do that on YouTube, and that's how I'm going to be presenting my information. Is essentially all tonight's a um oh my god, I can't think of words right now. Tonight is a research stream basically, and then future streams will be me implementing the research that I conducted tonight. So because my topic is on studying, I'm going to be looking at different methods of studying, different methods of note taking, different methods of information retention, and then I'll be doing future streams where I implement this information. So I'll be doing different methods of studying on stream and different methods of memory retention on stream. And then the second half of this will be some writing sprints. I have a short story assignment that I need to be working on for my fiction class. Um, it's an idea that I've had for a while called In Time for the Wedding, and the main premise is the main character, Charlie, is tasked with crossing multiple state lines to bring their elderly and super sick grandfather back in time for their dad, his son's wedding. um Somewhat inspired by real life events, had things kind of panned out the way that they were initially going to. And so I was originally going to write this short around that time, and then I couldn't get into it. And so now I have the opportunity to take another stab at it for my fiction class. And so that's what I'm gonna eventually be trying to do. But for right now, it's a research stream and a sprint stream later. So I'll probably be, when it gets to sprint time, be flipping between that short and Across the Taller Distance, my gothic fantasy novella inspired by the myth of Eros and Psyche. So, with that preamble out of the way, I'm going to transition us here. And so I am. This is my Maybe I can zoom in a little bit just to make things a little more. No, okay, that just makes it worse. Anyway, so this is the main like page for my project. Um, and it's just like resources and whatnot that we can use. And then I have a screen up, as you can see over on this side, that's just me utilizing the information. So we're gonna watch a few videos and take notes on them the way I normally take notes, and then we'll be. That's not the thing I want. Is this the thing? Yeah, that's another research thing. How do I get this done? Okay, yeah, yeah. Spread across all four phases. Blah 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 blah. Acting on what you've learned. 6 to 9 hours. So yeah, perfect. Sharing what you learn with someone else. So of course, sharing what I learned with someone else is going to be the bulk of this because I am sharing all the process with you basically, and I'm going to try and do. I don't know if I can promise a stream every single night this week, though my husband is working every single night for the rest of this week. I will certainly try. It depends on how many spins I have. So. I think I'm gonna stop talking now, and we're gonna start looking at videos. And most of them are relatively short, and I am going to speed them up just because I have the attention span of a baby. Um, Not literally, but we'll put on 1.25 just so it's a little tolerable for everybody else. Uh, uh, yeah. And do I like this as header 1? I don't know. That works. Text. We're also gonna double space all this. Sorry, I'm gonna break this for a second. I should have done this earlier, but I didn't. What? I'm also gonna bolt this. Goddamn. Times are Roman for now. So, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on, and I'll just kind of pause it if I have notes at any point in time, and just kind of chat with people about it. So,
what is the best system for taking notes in class? Well, luckily for you, I did the research, and it turns out that
there was another thing I forgot to add really quickly. Bullets.
there are 5 different note-taking systems that are generally accepted to be pretty darn good. And, of course, I will be representing these note-taking systems with Street Fighter characters, because why not? So, the 5 note-taking systems I'm going to go over in this video include the outline method, the Cornell method, the mind map method, the flow method, and the write on the slides method.
Okay, really quick side note. In high school, so there was oh man, I can't remember what it was called, but it was a specific type of class where it was like a college preparedness advancement course. And they really, really, really harped on the Cornell method. I fucking hate the Cornell method. I hate it so much. Don't ask me why. It makes zero sense to my poor little brain. Um, and every time I was forced to use it in class, I would go fucking berserk because I hate it so much. I hate having to use it. I hate having to fucking look at it and acknowledge it. Um, it just sucks personally. Um, but I will give it a fair shake for the sake of this project just to see if maybe my mind has changed over the years. I highly doubt it though. I fucking hate the Cornell method.
The first note-taking system on my list is the outline method. I've chosen Ryu to represent it because the outline method is straightforward, based on hierarchy, disciplined, and overall very simple.
He says he's using Street Fighter characters to represent all these, and I'm sure that's just like a way to make people like to make it stick better to people. Probably people in his audience who A want to learn this stuff and B like Street Fighter. I'm fine with Street Fighter. I don't give a fuck about the characters unless it's Chun-Li because Chun-Li is hot. So I'm not going to put in my notes the Street Fighter characters that he's using.
In fact, you couldn't get more simple than the outline method unless you were just straight up writing paragraph notes down, and if you think that's going to be a good note-taking method, well, things are not going to work out for you. So the outline method is a note-taking system that's based on bullet points and hierarchy. Basically, to take outline-style notes, you
So basically what I already do is the general gist that I'm getting from what he's saying. Um, so yeah, I guess that makes sense because that's also how I. Is that how I outline? Kind of. I guess that's kind of how I outline things too. But it's how I take story notes. It's how I take world notes. It's how I take character notes. It's how I take any notes. Is this method? So that's interesting.
simply create top-level bullet points of all the main points in the lecture. Then you make lower-level bullet points to fill out all the details. If you're taking outline notes on paper,
Except he's saying essentially you start with each topic, and I just start with like whatever topic it is, and it's easier to do it on like notes or Google or whatever, because you can kind of like go back through. Most of the time people put their information in a hierarchical order that makes sense to me and to my notes, but there have been times in like a lecture or something where I they've made a point that fits way better with an earlier topic, and I've had yeah. In general though, I do like I would start with Ramses and then I'd put his facts and then I'd start with Amenhotep, and then his facts, and then Thutmose and the facts. So not like topic, 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 and then facts like that. Maybe I'm just misunderstanding though.
it's a good idea to either space out your main bullet points or summarize them at the top if your professor goes through them, and then make new bullet points that are more detailed down the line.
I did understand, and I don't do it that way.
However, if you're taking these notes on a computer like I always did in a program like Evernote or Byword or another word processor, you can easily go back, add new bullet points, and format things without having to mess up the structure of your document too much. So honestly, for the outline method, I think using a computer is a perfect approach. The second note-taking method on my list is the Cornell method, and I've chosen Chun-Li to represent it because she's got multiple kicks and it's got multiple sections.
It is upsetting to me That, yes, my son, it is upsetting to me. They chose the best character, the hottest character, and put her to the worst note-taking method that exists. That deeply upsets me.
The Cornell method was developed by Walter Pock back in the 1950s, and it still holds up pretty well today. When you take your notes in the Cornell style, you divide your paper into 3 distinct sections. On the top of your paper, you'll have 2 different columns, the left one being the cue column, and the right one being the note-taking column. And underneath those 2 columns, you add another box for the summary. During class, you use the note-taking column on the right to write notes in a normal style. However, this is where the Cornell method deviates from other note-taking systems. As soon as you can after class, you write down questions or cues in the cue column. These are meant to help you review later. You also write down a summary of the lecture in the summary column. These 2 sections of the Cornell method, the summary and the cue column, they're
I paused it there just so I could kind of keep up. The other thing I am noting with the Cornell method, maybe they just taught it wrong in school. I swear though, when they taught us the Cornell method in school, it was always like topic here, all the information here, and you keep going, and then there's a summary at the bottom. This whole like the Q section is for questions that you have after you've taken the notes is interesting to me, and it may change my perspective a bit on this outline or note-taking method. I'm not sure yet though. I still am pretty biased.
both designed to help you build reviewable notes the first time you write them. That way you don't have to go back and rework your notes so much. Note-taking system number 3 is the mind map method. You know, it's been said that your mind is a map of the territory that is reality. So maybe by that logic, the mind map system is the perfect note-taking system. Actually, that doesn't make any sense at all.
I fucked up. I fucked up. Shit. Alright, fuck. Alright. There we go. I fixed it. Everything's fine.
Either way, I chose Dalsim to represent the mind mapping system because he's a meditator and he's always focused on improving his mind. To begin a mind map, you simply take a blank piece of paper, draw a circle in the middle of it, and add the main topic of the lecture there. Then you'll start branching off little trees and adding subtopics. Eventually you'll have lots of little branches and you'll create a mind map. I never actually used mind maps for my class notes, but I have used them for blog post topics before.
Yeah, I will try it out for a stream just to say that I've like actually tried it out and tried to implement it. Um, like you mentioned, this will work great for blogs. This will work great for like trying to like word association basically. If I'm researching though, I really don't see how the mind map method is going to help me. So that's my thoughts on it.
When I wanted to write a blog post on all the ways you could save money in college, I wanted to make sure I could cover all my bases. So I created a mind map. I put saving money in college in the middle, and then tried to figure out all the different facets of a student's life where they have to spend money. Building a mind map helped me organize all these topics, and as a result, I was able to create a more comprehensive list in the end. The fourth note-taking system is the flow method. This system was invented by the writer Scott Young, who's probably best known for going through the entire MIT computer science curriculum in a single year. Scott uses what he calls holistic learning, and his approach is diametrically opposed to the rigid, transcribing style of the outline method. As a result, I chose Blanca to represent this note-taking system. His fighting style is that of basically a wild animal, and it's the complete opposite of more disciplined fighters like Ryu or Guile. And that is a perfect way to describe the flow system of note-taking. You're not trying to get every single detail from the lecture down onto your paper, and in fact, the point is not to transcribe the lecture at all, rather it's to learn while you are sitting in class. As you take your notes, your goal is to create an original document that represents your mental image of the subject. It's not to record verbatim what your professor said. As you take to create an original document that represents your mental image, it's to learn while you are sitting in class. As you take your notes, your goal is to create an original document that represents your mental image of the subject. It's not to record verbatim what your professor said. As you take notes, you can go back to earlier points, add details, draw in arrows and little offshoots, and basically create something that is your own. The entire
So it's kind of like a flowchart then, basically, if I'm understanding that right. I think I'm understanding that right.
point of the flow system of note-taking is to learn it once. This lets you accelerate your learning, and that's the real strength of the system. The final system of taking notes is the lazy man's way of taking notes, and I call it the write on the slides method. To represent this note-taking method, I chose Zangief. Because Zangief. Seriously, do you really think I'll put
Okay, maybe it's just the fact that I watched Wreck-It Ralph once, but fuck you, Zangief's cool.
a whole lot of thought into these things. If your professor actually lets you download the lecture slides before class, then it can be pretty convenient to just go print them off the computer lab and write directly on them. One of the cool things about this method is that the slides more or less mirror the flow of the lecture, so you almost get a sort of timeline view when you take notes on slides. It's kind of like SoundCloud, where people can actually leave comments at specific times during an audio file. Taking notes on slides isn't that accurate, but it's pretty close. And when you do it, you can look back and say, okay, at this slide, he was talking about return on the cost of buzzwords synergy management. So those are the real strengths of the method. You don't have to write as much because the slides sort of do it for you, and you get a sort of timeline view for your notes. So those are, in my humble opinion, the best 5 note-taking systems out there. Which one's right for you? Hey there! Thanks for watching my video. If you'll have comment on any of these note-taking systems, click that thing.
Alright, so that's video 1, and I'm going to... I decided no. Hyperlink. I'm gonna attach that there. By the way, the links to all of these videos that I'm watching are going to be in the video description. So, we're gonna make a new page. Look. Okay. Saving myself some headache in the formatting department. We're gonna close this now. Um, And for anybody just tuning in, I am doing a research stream to start with because I have a project where I have to look at an element of, I guess, college and research it. Um, Act on my findings, present it to people, and then like turn it in. And so the way I've decided to, or so first off, my topic is the topic of studying and looking at different studying methods and kind of reevaluating what methods may work best for me, and how they might work in specific situations. And so then, when it came to presenting the findings, I said, "Hey, I have a YouTube channel where I sometimes do writing sprints and streams and whatnot, and a big part of writing is researching. So I can just live stream me acting out these things. And then, just do like a smash compilation of me doing these things, or maybe I'll just like make a video at the end that summarizes my thoughts, and or have a slideshow that, oh, I can't think, a slideshow that like encompasses everything that I've learned basically. That's the gist of it. So for those that are tuning in right now. That's what we're doing is right now we're doing the research part of it. And then I'll probably do the acting on in a different stream. Just because I don't want to spend like forever doing homework, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't have to do like everything all at once. Um, oh, you know what I forgot to do? Shit. Um, Claudine, Delphine. I have a character in Across the Hello Distance named Claudine, by the way. And that's just neat to see. Let me double check that. Shit. Yeah. Cool. Again, I'm gonna up the speed a little bit.
Welcome to Schedule Friendly. In this video, I'm going to talk about the basics of visual note-taking. So first things first, why visual note-taking? Well, it enhances your memory and retention of information, mostly because you now have access to multiple cues, which will help you remember what you need to know. Visual note-taking improves your understanding of the lessons you're supposed to learn, because you're not just jotting down what the teacher or the book say, but you're exercising your brain by connecting the verbal material to the visual material. And of course, it's way more fun compared to boring old text-filled notebooks. There are 3 things you need to remember.
Real quick. So most of the visual things that I would end up doing in the last time I was in college is I would just like doodle random shit in the margins of my notes and whatnot. Um, and so I drew a really kick-ass Makar once, Makar from Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker. Wind Waker? Yeah. He's my favorite guy. I love him. He's a little Deku guy, and I love him so much. I actually this weekend got a not a squishmallow, but like a stuffed version of him. Super cute. Um, but anyway, I drew a kick-ass Makar once, and um, what was I saying? Oh, that's so nice. I just so I sidestepping for a second. Being an author and publishing a novel means I have to get blurbs from people who have read this book to advertise my novel. And I got one last week, I think, from my friend Cami. And I asked the editor who looked at it if they would be willing to do the same, because I mean, they're the editor, they looked at it. Um, and they just sent it to me. And so I'll just read it really quick. It's just a couple lines. It says, high stakes and beautifully detailed novel that we are privileged to have on the shelves of queer dark academia. I cannot put this book down. There's so much to learn about this world through an intricately weaved dual POV and timeline. Um, and then they said, here's the blurb. And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna cry. Just a little bit. Um, So anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, so when I think of visual note taking, I just think of the fact that uh I doodled car, I doodled some other shit too in the margins that I just can't um I can't remember right now what it is that I drew. Um, but that's kind of where my brain goes. I did like when slides and stuff um would have pictures or like books and whatnot, I would try and replicate them in my notes. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Um, but most of the time though, it was just like random shit. So we'll kind of see how the rest of this video goes. And like I said, all of these videos are going to be linked in the description, because I believe in citing your sources. Intense blurb. I'm just sending this to a friend really quickly because I want to cry now. Um, anyway, back to the video.
When you're doing visual note taking, there's text, images, and structure. Text and visual note taking is important because it's not merely writing the usual way one does. It's writing while making use of one's knowledge in hierarchy and distinction. This means that when you write or doodle the words, you highlight the more important terms, so it'll be easier for you to identify the main point from the supporting details. Text can also be used as a form of visual mnemonics, which is the treatment of words as images. This helps you understand and remember difficult terms better and as images.
Spell mnemonics.
This helps you understand and remember difficult terms better, and it also helps you filter out the unimportant details and places more emphasis on the words you actually need to know. Plus, this translates everything into a language you actually speak, since you call the shots with how these terms will look on your notebook. Images are important because turning words into pictures involves translating terms into recognizable forms, from purely linguistic concepts and descriptions to objects one can actually see. Think of it this way, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and if you can save up on ink and paper by drawing just one doodle instead of writing a 5-paragraph description, then why not stick to visual note-taking? Structure gives your notes direction and organizes the flow and relationships of the concepts and lessons you're trying to learn. Structures can be in the form of charts, graphs, or maps. They don't just organize your thoughts, but they can also help you spot trends, illustrate patterns, and they let you see an actual picture of the data you need to examine. But instead of doing the usual boring way of making them, you can also incorporate what's been said about images and text. This doesn't just increase the visual appeal of your notes, but this process of relating words to images and pictures and words to an overall structure improves your understanding and knowledge of the lesson. It makes things less complicated for you because you can do things your way and turn the teacher's and the textbook's words into structures and images that make much more sense to you. That's all for the basics, and I hope you learned something new in this video.
Alright, so there's that video. Um, I guess I don't wanna say it wasn't informative, because I mean I did learn a couple, but did I? Yeah, I learned a couple things, but it's just kind of like stuff that I figured was kind of subconscious, maybe. Um, So, but I mean, it's a resource that my professor had, so I'm using it. So that was one of two videos about the actual like types of studying. The other videos from what I've seen are more about like how to retain the information in later, like when you study it later on, not necessarily like taking notes during the lecture. Um, so let's go to the next one. The curve of forgetting. Turns on their dismiss that. Not everybody turns on their captions automatically.
The curve of forgetting. The curve of forgetting shows us how our memory works over time. This blue line represents your memory with no review sessions. On day 1, you attend lecture and pay attention, and you walk out knowing 100% of the new information you learned. On day 2, the blue line
I'm
drops, representing the
finish talking and then I might just like put. Oh no, I see how it works. I'll probably put an image in. No, I don't need it.
fact that if you don't use that information again, you lose 50 to 80% of the material you learned. Our brains don't retain information unless we use it on a regular basis. And you can see that by day 30, we recall
What is it called? What is this type of graph called? It's a exponential. It's an exponential.
only traces of that original lecture. Let's say you have a midterm on day 40. You'll have to relearn all the material from the lecture and subsequent ones. This can result in a feeling of panic before exams, and last minute cramming combined with panic will give you less than stellar results on that exam. But you can change the pattern. The yellow line indicates what your memory would look like with regular review over the course of the term. On day 30, you'll retain the information you need to do well on that exam, and as an added benefit, you'll understand it even better. When you're exposed to the same information over and over, it becomes easier for you to retrieve that information from your memory. As you can see, if you review on a regular basis, you can reactivate the material with just 10 minutes of review after one day, 5 minutes after 1 week, and 2 to 4 minutes after 1 month. Every time you review, you become more and more familiar with the material, so it takes less time to review it the next time. Compare those few minutes, spread out over time, with the hour you would need to spend relearning material at the end of the semester. Reviewing over the course of the term will ultimately save you time and help you learn and understand material better than ever.
This was one of those videos where, in hindsight, it's like, yeah, no shit, that is how it works. I just this is the first time it's like actually dawning on me. And so like hearing that, I'm like, yeah, of course I should fucking know that. Why wouldn't I know that? That is not something I did when I went to college or even high school for that matter. Like I would end up, cramming last minute and then panicking. I mean, I still did okay, but this was a decent video in that it should be common sense, but it wasn't kind of thing. So that was a nice refresher. It's just 319. Turn on closed captions because a bitch is what's the word? Auditory processing. A bitch has auditory processing disorder. That's on being autistic. I'm also gonna decrease your study time. I cannot read, apparently, or spell. There we go. I don't know why you... No, that's not what I wanted you to do. Thank you. Please tell me she
Hi guys,
talks.
it's Dr. Keisha, and I'm here to talk to you about a really effective study
She's so fucking quiet. Oh my god. Let me turn this up, maybe.
technique. Spaced repetition is a learning technique that incorporates increasing intervals of time between subsequent review of previously learned material in order to exploit the psychological spacing effect. What is that?
Also never heard this term before.
Well, it means that learning is greater when studying is spread out over time.
Which, again, should be a fucking no-brainer, but I am the king of stupid islands, so...
As opposed to studying the same amount of content in a single session. If you are using flashcards, study the cards right before you forget the material. A German science journalist, Sebastian Leitner, who has a very interesting story, by the way, created a widely used application of spaced repetition for learning. By separating paper cards into a series of boxes and moving the cards to a different box on each successful or unsuccessful review of the material, it's possible to see at a glance how well you know the material.
That's an interesting anecdote. I don't know how important it is to me, though, so I'm just gonna, like, note that it existed and move on.
So, let's say you have 3 boxes or 3 piles of cards called box 1, box 2, and box 3.
Apparently it's gonna be very important. Please tell me she put the name of the German guy in... She did not! She has an article, though. Please tell me the link's not broken, because this video is, like, almost 7 years... It is 7 years old. Fuck. Nope, fuck. Okay, well... I don't... Yeah, I don't know about that.
The cards in box 1 are the ones that you often make mistakes with and forget, and box 3 contains
I'm gonna go back for a second and just learn what the fuck this guy's name was.
a German science journalist, Sebastian Leitner, who has a very interesting story, by the way, created a widely used application of spaced repetition for learning. By separating paper cards into a series of boxes and moving the cards, you have 3 boxes or 3 piles of cards called box 1, box 2, and box 3. The cards in box 1 are the ones that you often make mistakes with and forget, and box 3 contains the cards that you know very well that you've mastered. Maybe you should study the box 1 often make mistakes with and forget, and box 3 contains the cards that you know very well are the ones that you often make mistakes with and forget, and box
So box one... Okay. So box one is the one you make the mistakes with a lot. If you get one correct, you move to box two. She doesn't talk about box two. But then box three is the one that, like, you're constantly getting correct. So, somewhat knowledgeable, question mark. I won't say I've mastered.
3 contains the cards that you know very well that you've mastered. Maybe you should study the box 1 cards once a day, box 2 cards every 3 days, and box 3 cards, say, every 5 days. If you look at a card in box 1 and get the correct answer, move it to box 2 and forget about cards, say, every 5 days. Box 2 cards, study the box 1 cards once a day. Box 2 cards every 3 days, and box 3 cards, say, every 5 days. If you look at a card in box 1 and get the correct answer, move it to box 2 and forget about it for a few days. A correct answer with a card in box 2 advances it to box 3. If you make a mistake in a box, it gets demoted to the first box, which forces you to study that card again more often and sooner. I want you to try this technique and let me know if it works for you. I should also mention that this technique has been widely adopted by computerized flashcard software. So, make your own traditional flashcards or use an application. On your computer, you can use AnkiSRS.net. On your device, download the Anki app. With this app, there is no need for you to determine when to study again.
Another one that I used a lot in high school, and I don't remember what it's called right now, but it had like key terms and flashcards and yada yada. And I actually used it a lot for insurance school too a couple of years ago. Um, I don't remember what it's called though, but I know it wasn't this one.
Scientist has already thought through the process and the algorithm and programmed it right into the app. So you don't need to worry about which card you need to study on which day and how often. What I really love about the app is that you can use pre-made flashcards from their database of over 80 million sets of cards. Many are from Quizlet, which you probably are already familiar
Quizlet,
with.
that's what it was called.
Creating your own flashcards, in addition to plain text, you can add images and sound to your cards in the Anki app. All right, well, thanks for watching the video. Make sure to share this with another student and subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Sucks your links are broken, but because I want to know a little more about the study, but yeah, unfortunately it looks like that domain has been sieged, as it were. So on to the next one.
We're about to show you a grid of images.
Something. Choose some things.
You'll have a few seconds to memorize them.
I've always been like okay at these. Well, let's see how I do.
Ready? Go.
Mm-hmm.
Time's up. Not so easy, was it? Memorizing things isn't always easy. Computers store all of their files on
For the first like 2 seconds, I was thoroughly convinced it was like one of those matching games, and it wasn't, and that definitely made it worse.
a hard drive ready to be opened at a moment's notice. But the human brain works a bit differently. When we study something like a scientific term, a bunch of cells called neurons start talking with each other,
No.
making
Oh my God.
connections about that word and its definition. Then, when we're trying to remember that term later on, our neurons work together and strengthen those connections. So, the more often we study something, the stronger these connections become, making it easier for us to recall. A better memory. So let's apply this to studying. Before trying to memorize something, it's important that you understand it. If you're studying for a test and find that you don't fully comprehend something, take time to learn more about it. Whether it's a math formula or a vocab word, if you have a strong understanding of it, your brain will form more connections, allowing you to remember it more easily. Chunking is the process of breaking information down and organizing it into groups. We do this naturally with phone numbers. Instead of memorizing the digits individually, we chunk them into small groups. Let's take a look at this list of vocab words. Pretty long and intimidating. Luckily, we can categorize them into smaller, more meaningful groups. In doing so, we're creating relationships between the words, which can help during the recall process. Visualization involves creating an image in your mind that accompanies the idea or term that you want to memorize. When you study something, like this definition, you're creating a verbal memory of it, or a series of words. But if we take that definition and create a visual image to accompany it, we're giving our brain two different ways to recall the information.
this is only somewhat related, but there's a artist that I follow for a few years now, Feeful. Was it Feeful who did this? I'm pretty sure it was Feeful who did this. Where she did like a series of images for the mitosis stages, and but they all had Miku.
Visually,
So it was like the cloning of the Miku Hatsune essentially through mitosis. That's all I think about now.
and verbally. Talking aloud when studying can help increase the odds of committing something to memory. Psychologists found that you're more likely to remember something if you speak it instead of reading it silently.
I hate this because I like obviously I kind of go off on tangents and lose the plot often, but I can talk relatively well if I'm just like speaking freely, even if I have a lot of filter words and whatnot. I can still speak relatively well. When I'm reading something though, I stutter so goddamn bad. I posted a couple videos on TikTok that's just me reading the opening page of my short story collection that I released back in May. And the first one for that I did for You Are Not This Person Anymore did decently well on TikTok actually. But my point here is, uh, each of those took multiple takes in order to do it without fucking it up because I would just keep like tripping over my words. And I think it's just because I read so fast and I try and read fast to essentially keep up with my brain, and I can't, so I trip up, and it fucks me up. I actually went to a open mic event on Monday, so a couple days ago, at a bookstore like an hour north from me, with some members of my writing group, and I only fucked up at the end, and I was very proud of myself. Uh, but it was very, very hard, and especially since I had to kind of force myself to read slower. And afterwards, the lady who went with me from my writing group had said that I still read kind of fast, which is I didn't read as fast as I normally do in our groups. I had deliberately like tried to slow myself down, and it was still pretty quick. And I'm just like, I can't win here, I guess. But anyway, all that to say, whether I learn better or not, I hate reading things out loud because I stutter so goddamn bad, and it drives me insane.
This is called the production effect. By reading something aloud, we're not only saying it, but we're also hearing and seeing it too, giving our brain 3 different ways to encode that information instead of just one. You can test how well you've memorized something by teaching it to others. This can help you to make your own mental connections about the material while you're explaining it or answering any questions your partner might have. And if you're not able to fully explain something, then you'll know what you need to focus on. Now, these methods don't work like magic. You'll need to put the time in to study. After all, memory is a skill, and like any skill, it's something you need to practice.
And that's the conclusion of that final video. So, there is also a reading. Yeah. I don't know if this will show up on OBS. Probably not, but I can zoom the fuck in. 10 hot tips for study success. This one I can't link because it is directly inside my school. Shit. But I will at least do 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 do. Study suck. Sorry, that was inappropriate. Starting day 1. I am bad at that. uh like even this week, like, to be fair, my professors did upload the next units late. We're supposed to have access to them on Monday, and I normally, like, when school first started, like when everything was opening up, I jumped on it as soon as possible. So my classes started July 1st. I was there July 1st at 5 a.m. while I was waiting for my work to start, just to try and get a head start on things. This week I did not, partly because my professors were late in uploading things, and partly because I've been a fucking slacker. Um, I took, they uploaded it like Monday night, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing this. And then I looked at it yesterday, and at least I pulled up all the pages I needed, and I was like, I'm not fucking doing this today. And today I was like, I need to do this. So, start from day 1. And keep the radio schedule for the establishes. Okay. That's all my notes on studying. And he wants us to spend like 15 hours on this project at least. Um, so that's 1 hour that I've spent doing research, so far. And I may do some like supplemental research kind of on the back end to, um, just to kind of find a couple more study resources maybe. But other than that, I think that's where I'm gonna leave the research right now. How many hours does he want us to do every week? Uh, if we have how many attempts? 3 times in this class. Okay, so I need to spend at least 5 hours this week working on this. So I've just spent one. And I did say I plan on doing more streams the rest of this week. So I think what I'm gonna shit. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna call that for that part of it tonight. Just gonna turn this on. Turn it down to about there. I hope that's still like hearable. If it's audible, I'm gonna turn my mic down a little bit though, so I'm not blowing people's eardrums off. But if that's audible and not, what's the word? I'm so sorry, my brain is just kind of scattered. Let me know in chat though if you can hear the music and hear myself and they're not causing too much distress. Why do I keep peeking on the mic? I don't know. Anyway. So, the next thing that I think we're going to do. Let's try like making a... Oh my god, hi Lena, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize that you've been following along this whole time. I don't know what the LMAOY was for. Making an outline for a story and adding... So I'm assuming this is about the Cornell method. Lena said, well, let's start like making an outline for a story and adding in comments or something on the side for places to revisit or such, maybe. Yeah, when you put it that way, it does make more sense. Also, yes, I now having some information on my maps, I don't like it either. I will, like I said, I will do it for the benefit of having said I've done it for this project. I don't like it though. Just right off the bat, I don't like it. But yeah, comparing it to like stories and being able to leave inline comments and stuff does make it a little more understandable in my brain for Cornell method. Doesn't mean I'm still the biggest fan of it, to be honest. But like I said, I was also taught about it in high school, and not every teacher was as stellar about it as others, so it could be a case of where I was just taught bad, and that's why I don't like it, and at that I just need to approach it on my own now and see if my dislike still remains. So I'm gonna move something over to this page just to like have it. What is this? Oh, what song is this? Oh my god, oh my god. It's from Pokemon Emerald. It's from Pokemon Emerald. Rustboro City! It's like, it's not Lily Cove, because it's like do 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 do. Is that Lily Cove? Yeah. I also, really quick need to open up this on my end. Put that over there. And I start a new document here. So now what we're going to do... and it says it's missing because... So this project that I'm looking at for my fiction class is optional for me. And I forgot that there were elements that I needed to, what's the word? I should do a Pokemon stream sometime. I still have the ROMs, yeah. Yeah, I should do some Pokemon streams at some point. That'd be fun. It wouldn't be writing per se, but it'd be fun. Oh, that was my editorial. Editorial report. Also, do you like all my titles? I'm so funny. I hate that some of these I can't remove. It drives me insane. Morning after, so took one Kikaro Hill. I would enter VIDS. Oh, I know what that one was. Morbid Fixation, Sumeba Miyako. You're not this. Oh, the first question mark draft of Yampa? No. In Time for the Wedding is in here somewhere. I know it is. That's Pseudopolis City. I love Pseudopolis City. Where the fuck is In Time for the Wedding? Hold on. I'm gonna transition scenes for a second just so I don't, like, dox myself, because unfortunately my school email has my real email, or my quote-unquote real name on it. But I need to find the document for In Time for the Wedding, so I have an old Google account that I've had for years and years. But I made an email specifically for my writing, and what was the word that I was saying? I've been slowly transitioning documents over from my old email to my new one. But apparently, In Time for the Wedding somehow is not on my new Google Docs account, which is very aggravating, because I swore to God it was there. Wedding. I don't understand. Where the fuck is In Time for the Wedding? I had notes. I swear to God I had notes. There it is! I don't know why I didn't see it. Anyway, okay. Crisis averted. I found it. Hello. There we go. While we were watching videos on taking... Why was surprised that we were watching videos on taking notes? Oh! Yeah, I'm doing something different tonight, Lena. Essentially, I have this project that I need to do for school, and I told my professor, because we have to present this, we have to have an audience that we're presenting this information to, and the project topic has to be on, like, something related to college, so I chose studying. We have to present our findings to, like, an audience, and so I said my audience is just gonna be my fellow writing friends, because, like, research is a big thing for writing, and so essentially the way I'm going to present my findings at the end to him is just like a compilation video maybe, or I'll just make a video like summing up my thoughts from this experiment. But I figured it'd be fun to kind of live stream the whole process, including like the initial research of it. The good news though is we're done with that. I'm gonna bring this in. So I have an outline that I started. Oh, nope. In rhyme, apparently, time for the wedding. So I have a final project for Oh, I know this one, but I don't. It's from Generation 4. Driftvale! Oh, Driftvale City. Shit. Oh, there's also this book that I need to yoink somehow. So anyway, the I can't think right now. Please don't dox me. Fiction plans. So, last week we had to submit a proposal of, like, this is my idea for the story, this is the character, this is their circumstances, this is the setting, and then the structure for it, and yada yada. And so now we have to write a rough draft. Am I gonna be able to get a rough draft done in time for the wedding? Cough cough. In time for when it's due? I don't fucking know. Most of the time my process isn't linear like that, but we're sure as shit gonna try. I think the first step is I'm going to write an outline, and I need to shape this up because some things have changed. Namely, we're saying... You know what? We're just gonna do this. Waiting with... Oh, the character also has a name now. Their name is Charlie with a Y. Some of my stuff randomly ends up on the wrong Google. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I swear to God, I scoured every single document on my official authorly email, and somehow... Did I transition back? I did. Okay, cool. Somehow I just skipped over it, I guess, but I found it in the end, so all is well in the world. I need to pick this up a bit, but this changes the banner from allowed to say so myself. And so back to the story. Sorry, I'm just reading something really quickly. I wanted to respond to it now before I forgot. So anyway, do I need both windows up now? I guess not. I'm gonna move. I just worry if I move this to a window that people can't see that the sound will cut out. And by the way, Lena, how is the sound? Can you hear the music and me okay? What am I looking at? Shipper. This is Jubilife City. Yeah. It's supposed to be like a jazz rendition of the Pokemon music, which is why I didn't recognize Driftvale right away, even though I was like, oh, I know this one. But Gen 4 inherently is just like really jazzy with it, so there's not much of a difference here. I'm also just gonna copy over all of these, all of this info, just because I need it. I also wrote some fucking banger lines. This was inspired directly by me working at the insurance place that I worked at, because we did have hand soap that just smelled like wet dog. No matter what, don't know why, don't know what brand it was or what caused it, but it just smelled like wet dog, and so washing my hands was fucking insufferable all the time, because I would just come out of the bathroom smelling like wet dog. It also just kind of, like, looked like a crack house bathroom, to be honest with you. There was holes in the walls, and it was not a good place to be honest. I don't need this anymore, so I can close it. think also what I'm gonna do is I'm officially gonna start, do I want to start a sprint? I don't know. I also was in part inspired to do this because, when I was younger, so my parents have been divorced since I was 10, but when I was younger, during the summer, we would go and visit my father for like 6 to 7 weeks, and for a little bit of that time, for a couple years, he was in Nevada, because he was in the Navy still before he retired, and his last station was in Fallon, Nevada. And so I had to be trapped in a car with my 3 brothers and my mother, uh, or my father, for up to 16 hours at a time. I think once he was like, "Fuck no, we're not driving the rest of the way. We're just gonna get a hotel and sleep, and then we'll, deal with it, tomorrow," which was really nice. But there was definitely a couple times where he was like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna shotgun it the rest of the way," and, fuck, what was I saying? But anyway, it's being trapped in a car with my 3 brothers and my mother or my father was unbearable. There was, not to get too personal, but when I was 13, I tried to self-game over, and it was while I was at my father's house, and my mother found out because I posted really angsty fucking writing logs on Wattpad of all things, and she missed me, and she decided to check on me. And anyway, so I didn't really talk to her for the rest of the summer, and then we traded hands, and she was mad. I don't fully remember why exactly she was mad. I know it related to, like, the self-game over thing. I don't remember exactly why she was mad, but she was mad, and we even stopped for dinner, her and her boyfriend at the time, and my 3 brothers and and I picked up pretty quickly that she was upset, and I was trying very hard to lighten the mood, and, like, nothing that I was doing was working, and just everything that I was doing seemed to be making it worse even, and being in a car with my upset mother, and my 3 brothers, just them being emotionally fine would have been bad enough. Her being upset made it so much worse. Just saying. Not to, like, trauma dump our main or anything, but it was not a fun time, and so I'm definitely channeling some of that in this project of just, like, the discomfort of being with somebody who may or may not be upset with you for, like, 20 hours straight, in a tiny vehicle, and just, like, it being inescapable and just having to do that. What is playing right now? Azalea Town. Oh, man. Also, so I said this was kind of inspired. So essentially, my father got married in May last year, and my grandfather was supposed to attend, and he unfortunately couldn't fly in because of his health, and so he had he moved to Florida by then? I can't remember. No, I don't think so. I can't remember. He lived in California at the time, though, and so because he couldn't fly up, because he wasn't doing well enough to be on a plane by himself, we were looking for ways to bring him up, and so at one point it was posited that I drive down to meet with him, and then I think the thought that was that we were going to fly back up, or no, what it was is I was going to fly down, meet with him, and then drive up, drive back, and then fly back by myself. That unfortunately did not end up happening because then his health got even worse for a second, and so he couldn't even really do that, and so we just had to live stream my dad's wedding to him. But I got the idea for the short around that time, and it obviously changed a fair amount of things surrounding it, but that was still, like, the general premise. Charlie is anxious because... So essentially, the whole conflict here, there's several smaller conflicts. The biggest one being Charlie's trying to make sure they get their grandfather to their dad's wedding, A, in time for it, and B, without any catastrophic fight, accident, or medical emergency happening. Their other smaller thing is, since the last time my grandfather has seen them, they have come out to part of their family as transgender. But their grandfather is one of the last people to like know, and they haven't told him because they haven't gotten a good read on like what his stance is. But they think they think they know what his stance is, and so they don't want to say anything. But they're constantly being like misgendered and dead named and whatnot, and so it's just causing a lot of friction for the duration of this car ride. And right now there's like a loose idea in my head of a climax, wherein I think it may be like there's a smaller climax of them having a fight about trans stuff, and then like a bigger climax of there's like a near medical emergency maybe, and then like the resolution is they are eventually going to be like called the right name or something. I need to think about it a little more. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to think about it more. This needs to be 15 pages long at Times New Roman 12-point font, double spaced, right? You'll write 10 to 15 pages of a short story, so approximately 4,500 words, which I have done. Following a Northern Star is almost 10,000 words, I think, is what it came out to at the grand total. It's okay for the rough draft if it is not a fully complete draft. Thank the fucking gods. Because I don't know if I'll be able to get it all done this week, to be honest. The more you can get done per iteration of draft, the more productive your feedback is. Expand any of the writing exercises you already started to make this initial draft or something completely different, which will become your workshop draft, which will become your final draft. It should aim to be 10 to 15 pages, but it is okay if it's a bit longer or shorter, as long as the story is purposeful. That reminds me. We're going to turn that on, just so I can kind of see where we're at. Also, a slight side note for a second. I received my proof copy of A Sharp or More Lasting Pain a couple days ago on Monday, and so yesterday I started going through, and today I finished, and there's a lot of sticky tabs, first of all. Second of all, a bitch loves their M dashes, apparently, because oh my god, there are so many M dashes in that book, and I was like, I know I use a lot of them, but I don't think I use that many, and then I read through the whole book in the last 2 days, making notes on everything, and a bitch really loves their M dashes. There are M dashes all over this fucking place. Am I sorry for it? No. I did find a couple that I could snip out, at least. I also really love ... which is unfortunate for me because, like, if you're familiar with BookTube and whatnot at all, there's, like, Reads with Cindy who, like, will riff on too many ... for example, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I know I use them a lot, but I don't think I use that many. Same fucking case, though. Whatever, the book's basically done and out there. I am going to trim a few with my proofreads, and thankfully, I only found one section where there was actual, like, legitimate, like, I fucked up the spelling. Like, it was a line I had added with my editor's comments, and I happened to fuck up 2 words in the same sentence. The word she, which was SHR, and I forget what the other one, sure, it was, suit, S-U-T-E, is what it came out to, because I type faster than I can think sometimes. I think that's the only case where I found actually misspelled words. There were a couple in there where it was me wanting to rephrase things just a little bit better, and there were a couple sentences where I wrote the words out of order. so there's that at least, and then I found just a few lines that I could snip out, 'cause, I didn't think they were relevant anymore. I am a little upset because there's a scene later on with Chantal and Nadia that I read through today, and Chantal reveals something, which is supposed to set up Simone's next chapter, but she says something that I'm like, fuck, if she knows this, why isn't this commonplace? And so I need to fix that really quickly, when I submit my final copy. Other than that, though, it's very, like, it's very minute things, which is good. I feel I looked at the amount of tabs that are currently in my book, and I kind of wanted to cry about it. But you know, that's neither here nor there. So, transgender, apparently. Huh. No damn. Establish 3 things. Charlie and I think I named him Walter. I think the way I want to separate this short too is with the city locations, or like rough geological location of where they're at. So this scene would be Shiprock, New Mexico. And then each scene would be like, because I mapped out, as you can see, I mapped out their whole trajectory, and this is what Google shut up! I wanted you to zoom in, stupid bitch. So, like, I don't know, I could have a scene in Salt Lake City, maybe. Together. Ah, fuck, I meant to call my aunt today. I think it was her birthday. I'll need to call her tomorrow. Several songs for song, even if they're a beloved family member. I'm gonna call her tomorrow because I honestly can't remember if her birthday is today or if it's tomorrow. So when I call, I can be like, I don't remember. I'm sorry. Please tell me what day it is so I can mark it in my calendar and remember next year. But also happy birthday, maybe, question mark. Anyway. I also, the last time I thought about this, decided that they would be a... Oh, I remember now. Because yeah, this is when I was following, like, the literal, like, I was going to be flown down, and then, you know, drive him up, drive him back, and then fly back by myself. That was the plan, and so that's kind of where I went with the story. I'm changing it, though, that they take a road trip, because he's just not well enough to fly. And yeah, I'm not dealing with planes. I work enough with them all day, every day, as my day job. This is National Park. Yeah, I love National Park. For too long, Walter emerges from his house and gets into the car. Off. I think the next scene... I don't know the distance of any of these, so we're gonna open up maps again. I'm gonna transition really quickly, just because I don't know if it's gonna immediately zoom into my house or not. So I'm still here, but I'm doing this because I don't want to dox myself, and I don't know if it will. Yeah. Oh, it zooms in on my hometown. Oh, but it does mark on the map where the fuck I am. Don't want that. That's zoomed out far enough. I think that's okay. There. So, we are in, I said New Mexico? So we wanted Shiprock. There's a Las Vegas and New Mexico. So Shiprock is, where's a... Oh, Shiprock is like right by the corner of Utah, and oh, it's right by Four Corners, actually. So there's Shiprock. No, don't do that. Shiprock. How far is Salt Lake City? I just want to know. Salt Lake City. No, absolutely not. That's too long. Let's do, how about Monticello? Is that in Utah? Yeah. 2 hours, sure. And I should establish what time it is, so I'll just put that in brackets there, time. So yeah, we'll say Monticello. Time plus, we'll say 2 hours. And then we'll do, how about Salt Lake City now? Salt Lake City probably still like 4 hours away. 5 hours away even. Okay. I also need to figure out where the fuck they sleep. So if this is a 6-hour adventure, if Charlie is moving at a speed of blah 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 miles per hour, heading eastward, and the train is going blah 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 miles an hour, so precious. While I'm trying to... No, I don't want to have that conversation. I don't. 5 hours. How far is my map from me? Oh, ouch. I have a friend who lives in Washington State as well, and I have a book event coming up on October 12th in Monroe, Washington. And so I asked her how far away Monroe is from where she lives, and unfortunately it is too far for me to justify being like, hey, you should come. Because as much as I would love to meet her, I'm not gonna ask her to drive 5 fucking hours just to come to a book event for a little bit of time, you know? Okay. We're gonna say Charlie arrives at Walter's house at 2 p.m. We'll even do a military time. We'll be fancy. 1400. So this will be at 1600. So that puts us at 4 o'clock. So yeah, I can say they stop at Salt Lake City. Yeah. Let's play. Lumio City. Oh, I didn't play much of X and Y, so that's another 5 hours. So they'll get there at about 9 o'clock, so that's 2100. This is my favorite route from Generation 4. Route 209. It is I love this theme so much. I don't know what it is, but it tickles my brain in the right way. We're gonna have Walter want to put on some NPR. And I think, is NPR left leaning? They lean left, yeah. Why did it do that? What happens in Salt Lake City? Charlie and Walter. Is this Jubilife? No. This is Heart Home. Yeah. Where's the next step on their journey? So they have spent They've spent 7 hours on the road. They have 11 hours left on their trip. How far from Boise, Idaho? No, we'll do it at Twin Falls. Just so we can set up, like, the medical conflict. No, he's gonna make a comment the next morning. That's another one I haven't heard. Yeah, Twin Falls. They leave at 8:30, so we'll get there at about 11:30. Let's say 11:45. What? Matilda. That sounds like a fun name. Six hours, okay. So then we'll say they're in Umatilla. We'll just say 6 p.m. So now we're going from Umatilla to, how long would it take to get to Grandview? An hour. So I'm gonna go to bed at about 9 again. How about Ellensburg? Perfect! A little farther, actually. Cleella. Yeah. Oh, well, my hands. Okay. Lake Stevens is like here somewhere? Oh no, down there. I lied. Postwick. I don't know if I know that one. These must be from Sword and Shield. Oh, they have Relic Song in here. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are both from Sword and Shield, which I didn't play because I didn't like it. I got to the 3rd gym and I said, you know what? This game sucks ass, and I never finished. Oh, Elam has chose one. Right now I'm just trying to map out like where all they're stopping, and I can kind of trim things out as I need to, and kind of hit more on like the themes I want to establish and blah blah blah. How many hours does it take to get from Cleellum to Lake Stevens? Yes, my son? Oh, wow. Like 2 hours. They could have shotgunned that. Okay, yeah, it's my son. Yes. Yes. Okay, you know what? Oh, hello. This is supposed to be the final scene. And they get there. Cleellum to Lake Stevens in about 2 hours. So we'll say if they left Cleellum at 9 o'clock in the morning. Alright. Not gonna lie, I'm already getting tired of looking at this. So I think I'm going to stop with this outline here for tonight. Close this. And we're gonna move on to something completely different. So now I've mapped all that out. I need to double check how this looks. Oh, this looks fucking weird. Give me a second to fix that. That's better. Alright. So for the last half an hour. We're just gonna do a couple of sprints rather, for across this hollow distance, just because I want to get some words down for that before the end of the night. So yeah, I'm gonna start a sprint at 55, so in 3 minutes. I also need to do this. I need to move. Ah, fuck. This. Yeah. Can I make the text a different color, maybe? Right, we're gonna fuck with that in a second. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm trying to fix something. Right. Color. We're gonna select a color. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it blue because I love blue. Okay. Put that there. Make it just a little bit bigger. Turn that off. Scripts. Duration for, yeah, we'll set one for 10 minutes. We're gonna reset the timer there. We'll transition over. I'm gonna get a sprint set up. Mister, what the fuck you think you're doing? 10 at 55. Sure. Word count 0. Alright. I'm gonna finish getting ready for this. I'm gonna mute my mic and just leave the music on. So, that'll start soon. And that's time on this one. Oh, shit. So, I did make some progress on this since the last time that we looked at this project. And, surprise, Rianne had sex with her servant girl, Claudine. Sorry, one second. When was this? I don't know. Okay. Then I'm gonna do another 10-minute one and then call it good for tonight because I'm starting to get tired and I still have to do my reading for tonight. I know, despite all that reading I did. I'm gonna try and do a stream again tomorrow where I do similar things. I have an optional project that I'm doing on epistolaries right now, so what I think I might do is try out one of those study methods on doing research on the epistolary tomorrow. And then probably more of In Time for the Wedding, just so I can try and get more of that done, and then hopefully more of this, just because I do want to get back to this, so. Alex on, yay. Actually, I think I'm gonna call it here for tonight because I'm getting very tired. And I've done a lot tonight. So transition. Yeehaw. Yeah, I'm getting tired, so I think I'm gonna call it here. And go to bed. Do my reading first, obviously, and then go to bed. So, sorry for cutting it a little short. Thank you for tuning in if you tuned in. Thank you for writing with me if you wrote with me. Hopefully when I did all that research earlier, you learned a thing or two, or if not, that's really cool as well. I just want to do this to have fun, really, and to kind of keep myself accountable. So, with that, have a wonderful night.